Hello and welcome to Overdrive. I'm Rohit Paradkar. We are in Goa for the India Bike Week. It is hot in Goa as you would expect, but turning up the heat is of course KTM. They have their entire lineup here. We already saw the big machines from KTM being dropped in the country a little while back. But right now, what we have here, what is of interest to us is this. This is the new KTM 390 Adventure S. Now, at the EICMA, everyone brought you coverage of the 390 Adventure R. The R may not be considered for India because probably it's a bit too extreme. The S is what will be the range topper for the Indian market. So here, let's quickly take a look at what do you get. Now, we already saw in the spy shots, we already saw from the R that they are going after a more rally-inspired styling, which is why it's all vertically oriented, and that is exactly what you see in terms of the bodywork. You will see that the panels are nice and broad, they are vertically oriented, and that gives this bike a very imposing stance that you see on KTM's rally spec machines. So that stance is the main deal here that's going to instantly tell you this is the new 390 that you're looking at. Of course, that also means that it is going to get the larger engine from the new 390 Duke. Now, power and torque output figures are still under the wraps. KTM has still not told us what these are, but you can see here on the engine, it says MY25. This is the new 2025 spec engine. So in terms of the emission norms, in terms of the power outputs, this is the latest that you are going to get. Expect a power output of close to 47 bhp, or maybe even uprated to a little higher than that. And what you also see that compared to the KTM 390 Enduro R that we saw, the suspension is going to be different. You're going to get the WP Apex, whereas on the other one we saw the WP Explore. Now, that is a different suspension setup. This is going to be different. It's probably not going to ride as high, or the suspension travel is probably not going to be as much as the R. But let me remind you again, the R is not coming to India. What you are still going to get, however, is a setup that gives you a 21-inch front. So they are not skimping on that, and these will be spec with tubeless spoke rims. Yep, you heard that right, tubeless spoke rims. So we don't know if these are the tubeless ones right now, but by the time it hits production and you start buying it from the shelves, you are going to get tubeless spoke rims. These are shot with the Apollo Trampler tires. We saw I think we saw Mitas on the EICMA model, but here you're going to get the Apollo, and that was expected so that you get better availability. It's going to be easier to get, and we've tried this in the past. This is a lovely set of tire to have. The rear is going to be a 17. It's a 130/80/17, and the front, like I said, is going to be a 21-incher. What are your thoughts about this? Let me know in the comments below. I think this is an excellent setup. Now, what you're also getting here is this high-rise fender, and then you have that tower style arrangement for the headlights. So you get your two beams, you get the LED DRLs right here, and then you get this really tall windscreen, which I think should be really great even for those who are purely looking at touring. This should give you good weather protection. It's also got these cuts on the side, which should also give you enough ventilation, but at the same time, good weather protection as well. You see the LED turn blinkers in here. You also see these hand guards that have been installed, not properly installed yet, but fine. The S variant is also going to get you the cruise control. Now the switchgear is again something familiar. We've seen that on the 390 Duke, but the cruise control is something new for us. So you see the switchgear right here for the cruise control. So that's good news again for people who want to go touring. The screen, if my memory serves me right, is again similar to what we've seen on the 390 Duke. You get a USB-C charging port right on the side. So again, if you want to mount something here or mount something on top, you should be able to do that. Mounting brackets is going to be very easy. I'm sure there'll be a lot of aftermarket options. So even if you want to have your own GPS or maybe mount your phone and then charge it through this, again, very nicely placed, very nicely thought of. Right, so this is where your key goes. It's going to be a standard key configuration, no wireless key fobs or whatever. So that is the other bit. Now the seat height. Again, like I said, we don't have the specs yet, but it is pretty tall. And let me quickly show you what it looks like when I get onto the motorcycle. So standing and riding shouldn't be a problem at all. You are able to nicely grip on very easily. The seat has been designed that way, and it's a very slim profile that you get here. So standing and riding shouldn't be a problem at all. And in terms of absolute ergonomics, I'm getting both my feet flat on the ground. So no problem there either, getting both my feet absolutely flat on the ground. I am 5'8" for reference. So even there, it shouldn't be a problem either. Riding ergonomics seem absolutely comfortable. The overall riding posture seems nice and upright. So you should be good in that sense. Right, so what I immediately can tell you is that the bike really feels quite light between the feet, and that's something that we all would appreciate. So the high seat height is not going to be much of a problem, is what I believe. Like I said, I don't have figures on the suspension travel yet, but we'll get you those as soon as possible. I don't even have any official specs, so I can't really tell you what the ground clearance is like. But while I was standing, one thing I noticed is on the R, you get traction pads over here that you don't get here, but they've given a nice protector for the rear brake master cylinder. So that's not going to be in harm's way, even if you have a tip over or whatever, or even if you're wearing those chunky off-road boots or good touring boots, which you should. So those traction pads are not here. You also don't get a colored frame on the orange colored frame on the S. You're getting a black frame. The subframe, it is going to be an aluminum subframe like we saw on the 390 Duke, but obviously different for the Adventure. In terms of the tank capacity, I'm guessing it's going to be between 17 to 18 liters. It's up from the 390 Duke, of course, up from the outgoing 390 Adventure as well. So that is going to be the other additional bit. Now, in terms of the suspension, you will see that you get adjustability for the monoshock. You also get adjustability for the forks, which is again a good news for people who want to look at an all-rounder from KTM. So what do you think about the motorcycle? Let me know in the comments below. The wheelbase is obviously longer as well. You're looking at a longer swing arm, and the styling is all new. You get a really narrow rear profile, a really narrow seating profile, but the seat where your butt is going to go seems nice and comfortable. It is a bit on the stiffer side, so that should be really good for long distance journeys. Can't really say much about the pillion comfort yet, but the seat looks fairly decent size in terms of the pillion comfort as well. And once you get rid of the grab handles, you should be able to use these mounts over here to get aftermarket accessories for your panniers, luggage mounts, etc., etc. So all that should be quite good. Now this narrow section is the only bit that I'm worried about, because I'm not sure what kind of a mounting plate or a luggage plate you will be able to get here. How much weight will it be able to handle? Because it's pretty narrow towards the end. It's not as broad as we've seen typically on other adventure motorcycles. So that's the only bit that I am a little worried about, but that is something that we will find out when we review the motorcycle in its full glory. But I think the initial thoughts are pretty good. I think it looks like a very promising product. You are getting quite a decent spec. You're also getting these leg guards out of the box. You also get these crash bobbins mounted on top of it. So even if it tips over, you're not really going to hurt your legs all that much. And picking the bike up, even in its stock form, is going to be pretty easy thanks to this and the big chunky grab handles. So all of that, I think, is very nicely taken care of. So let me know what are your thoughts about this. What are the specs that you expect? Do you think that they will do some kind of a power change, torque change to this motorcycle? I'm not very sure about that. What I am sure about, however, is that it does get a larger rear sprocket. You can see a 46 tooth rear sprocket, and if I'm not wrong, the 390 Duke is running a 44, but if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. Do point that out. But yeah, that's a 46 tooth rear sprocket that you are looking at on this motorcycle. So quite impressive. I quite like it, and now waiting to ride it. When will that happen? I'm told it might happen as early as January 2025. So if you have stuck around till the end, thank you so much for watching this video. There you have it. 2025 Jan is when the motorcycle will be launched in the Indian market or thereabouts, and we should have a ride report for you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching this one. Until the next one, take care and ride safe.